What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Crunch Time on this East Coast afternoon, West Coast early morning for Keith. What's going on, everybody? I am Britt Devine, joined by the Iceman himself, Keith Eister. Keith, what's going on this morning for you? There's 2 different slates: 4-game on Fanduel, 6-game on DraftKings. I've got I got a little bit of a take. You maybe threw some cold water on it just a little bit, but maybe I'm going to stick with it. As we open up pitching here. What's going on?
Not too much, man. We got a really fun Saturday ahead of us. I like this morning baseball slate here quite a bit. We've got some NFL preseason action, another baseball slate this evening, a nice pay-per-view UFC card. So it's going to be a very fun, busy Saturday, but we're getting it started all about the baseball here this morning. We got a Wrigley win game, an ace on the slate. So even though it's a small slate, 2 aces on it. Here comes Britt's hot take. But a great little slate, even though there's only a couple of games here.
All right, so I'll let a couple of you guys file into the show before we get going here. Do please click the like button. There TJ's not on here, so there are no home run calls. We would appreciate the like button clicked throughout the show. All right, let's go to starting pitching today. And I guess I'll just get out with my hot take. You soured it a little bit. I like Detmers straight up over Cole today, I think. You soured it a little bit. No Springer. The Blue Jays lineup is a little bit weaker than it usually is. But Detmers, I mean, still, right? Guerrero, Kirk, Teoscar, Bichette, Chapman, or Riley Green, Willie Castro, Javi Baez, Eric Haas, right? I mean, these are really the Tigers might have one long, actual real, Major League Baseball starter if teams had to play their best players and things like that. I like Detmers quite a bit today. Cole's also good. I think on DraftKings, the pairing of them makes absolute sense as your starting pitcher combo today. I won't fault you on Fanduel for playing Cole. I think he is a fine play. I expect him to have a reasonably good outing. But he's sort of, it's 2 pitchers going in the opposite direction. Cole's still been good, but he hasn't been great. And he's still going up against Toronto. And you've got Detmers who, since he got back from the minor leagues, there's a couple articles out there. He fixed his arm slot, and he's just been on fire over these last couple of starts. 12 strikeouts, 7 strikeouts, 9. This is against Texas, Seattle, and Minnesota. Not even bad teams. These are reasonably good offenses. Now he gets Detroit. I mean, what more do you want today? The prop on him is way too low. If you're looking for a bet out there, you can get over 6.5, close to even money, maybe even plus odds on FanDuel. I laddered it all the way up to 10 on FanDuel because they let you do silly things like that and just get some free money, in my opinion, today. So that's one of my favorite bets. Where do you stand between these two? Basically, it was also I wanted to play Aaron Judge. I know the Yankees have been cold. I couldn't get Garrett Cole and Aaron Judge in the same lineup today, so I just went to Detmers. I think Detmers is in a really good spot tonight.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, and I'm not saying that playing Detmers over Cole was wrong. My counter argument was that Blue Jays lineup is just a little bit weaker than usual with no Springer at the top. You get Tapia in the leadoff spot. They've got Jackie Bradley now, who's just kind of a dead spot in the lineup. Not as strong of a Blue Jays lineup as we've been we've been accustomed to seeing this season. So I think Cole is very safe. It's still Yankee Stadium. It's still a talented Blue Jays lineup. So definitely some risk there for Cole. And Detmers has been phenomenal, like you mentioned. So I do absolutely love Detmers. We just saw Sandoval dominate this team last night. Newsflash, they're just as bad against lefties as they are against righties. That was some of the narrative last night, is that the Detroit was better against lefties, and they have been, but they're still really, really bad. So,
instead of being the absolute worst, they're the fourth worst.
Yeah, absolutely.
So between the 2 slates, so that's where I stand for cash. It's definitely Cole Detmers as the pairing on DraftKings, and you could play either one if you wanted to get some higher end bats. I'm going with Detmers. I actually like Detmers. I know the blitz and cardio, or the blitz. See, right? I'm in football mode already. But the bat will tell you otherwise. But I don't know. I really like what Detmers has done over these past couple of starts. Tournament wise, let's switch between the 2 sites, right? So FanDuel, you're missing a couple of games here. If that's where everybody's going on the 2-game or the 4-game slate, is there anything sticking out to you on FanDuel first?
Yeah, I'm totally fine being underweight on Cole. in Yankee Stadium. He'll probably give up a home run or two. I really like Detmers, so I want to get overweight on Detmers. Wheeler is a tough conversation for me. Really tough matchup against the Mets. They just don't strike out. Really quality overall offense. So I don't mind Wheeler, but I prefer Detmers, certainly. And I think I prefer Freddie Peralta, even though we're going to talk about the weather in this game. There's some wind blowing out in Wrigley Field. This is a very high-risk spot because of the weather. Freddie Peralta coming off the IL was under 70 pitches in his first 2 starts, and he got the Dodgers in his last start. So he hasn't really had an opportunity to kind of be the Freddie Peralta we know he can be, the high strikeout. Like he has 10 strikeouts in his bag today, I think. Just this matchup against the Cubs, there's 5 guys in the lineup that strike out over 30% against right-handed pitching. So as long as he can avoid the homers, I think he can get deep into this game, and I think he can rack up a ton of strikeouts. So very high risk with the weather. There's going to be some home runs hit in this game, but hopefully his walks are under control and he can avoid the home run ball. I think Freddie Peralta is a very good tournament play.
All right, let's go to DraftKings. I'll get to the weather in just a second, not just for the Cubs game, but basically across the board. But let's go to DraftKings, where there are 2 extra games. You get the Tampa Bay, Kansas City game and Baltimore and Boston. Some interesting pitchers in there. Is it still Peralta for you, or do Rasmussen and Bubic, who are a little bit lower price, come into play, and anyone else in the arsenal?
Yeah, I mean, Freddie Peralta is really cheap over here on DK as well, but Rasmussen is a little bit cheaper. Had a phenomenal outing his last time out. This Kansas City team is much higher strikeout than their season-long numbers would indicate. They traded away Benintendi and Carlos Santana and Whit Merrifield, who are all very low strikeout bats. So plenty of strikeouts in this Kansas City lineup. Rasmussen has been really good, one of the best pitching parks in baseball. So totally all aboard the Rasmussen train if you want to save some money. I think Bubic is in play too. Tampa Bay isn't as strikeout heavy against lefties. So choosing between those 2 cheap guys, I would go to Rasmussen.
All right. Anyone else? You mentioned Peralta. Waka's up there too. I know the bat was liking some of the Waka props, at least on the prop sites today. Maybe that's about it. I don't really see, the Mitch Whites. Bradish, maybe if you're looking for the ultra cheap play, would probably be about the only other guy, just as an ultimate salary saver.
Yeah, I mean, talented prospect, but still working on figuring some things out. We saw this with Detmers. He struggled when he first came up. The strikeout rate from AAA didn't quite translate. Bradish has just been dealing with a ton of hard contact, especially to righties. And Boston has a bunch of righties in there with power in Bogarts and JD. Just a tough lineup. So I don't hate Bradish, but I definitely prefer getting to the 7K range if I'm looking cheap.
All right, let's go. Let me just go through the weather here real quick. I've never seen, let me just refresh the weather page on RotoGrinders. Never seen this many games on the weather page, but the quick assumption, I see a lot of green, a lot of yellow-green. I'm not really too concerned about any weather for this entire slate. But what there is in Weather Edge. If you guys are premium members, you have access to this. I'll just give you a little sneak peek. Over 184 games, right? So normally some of these win games and games where you see these huge boosts are over a small sample. This is a huge sample of games based on similar conditions. A 52% increase in home runs, a 25% increase in total runs. So here's your high risk, high reward for Freddie Peralta. But this is, high reward for some of the bats in this game. Give me bats from either side for total offense today. What do you think of this Cubs-Milwaukee game? I mean, these are some huge numbers.
Yeah, those are definitely huge numbers. Similar conditions yesterday. We saw several home runs hit in the game. You've got Stroman as a ground ball guy for the Cubs, but the Brewers are very much fly ball, home run hunting type of hitters. So I love the Brewers in particular in this spot here with the Wrigley wind. And even though I'm playing some Peralta, I will definitely have some Cubs as well. They have some fly ball hitters like Suzuki. Franmil Reyes has been really good since joining the Cubs. He's one of the guys I really like for a home run today. So yeah, this is my favorite spot to target for offense.
Yeah, Contreras too. I mean, pick any bat in this game if you're looking for one-offs or a stack. I think makes quite a bit of sense. All right, before we get into other offense, let me remind you about the Fanduel single entry series. We're hosting that on our site sponsor. I think it's like week 4. Don't think, right? All you got to do is sort of win a week and you get access to the live final. don't think it's too late. You can still get in there. One entry, no MME. Put your best lineup out there all week long. Take advantage of that on Fanduel, one of the best tournaments you're ever going to come across in the industry. All right, so overall for offense, we mentioned the Wrigley win game. That is a team I like. I like the Angels. I think a lot of people are on the Angels because they're just a little bit too cheap. And you've got Trout back in the lineup, which should get, in theory, if his back holds up, a little bit of a boost to overall run scoring, RBIs, and things like that. I like Trout quite a bit today. I'm not hesitating deploying him in any format today. Are you on those two teams? Is there anyone else that you're really looking at?
Yeah, I do like the pricing on the Angels a lot. Taylor Ward is one of my favorite bats. He's just too cheap. Trout back lengthens that lineup. David Fletcher is also returned. Don't mind him in a stack. So the Angels are a much better team than we've dealt with over the last month or two here. Just getting Trout and Fletcher back. Joey Dell is minimum price. So they are very useful salary savers. I like this spot against Alexander for them. Let's see here. I do like the Red Sox against Bradish a little bit. I mentioned his hard contact issues. They beat him up the last time that they faced him. So the Red Sox are certainly a team that I'm on in addition to the Wrigley teams.
All right, let's go a little bit position by position. On FanDuel, you're probably not. You can maybe use Contreras. I'm not really going to spend too much time on catcher over there. If you're playing Cole and you want some of the bats, I can't spend on Contreras in the win game. I'd like to. Right, he's $6,000. I think it's a little ridiculous today. I'm saving. I like sort of like the Stassi tier. He's 2,700 on DraftKings. If you had to go all the way down to Tucker Barnhart or Perez at the bare minimum 2,000, right? You're just to be able to get a couple other bats. I don't hate it. Catcher's a spot I'm saving today for my cash games. In tournaments, there's Rutschman. He's been having a great season. Contreras is super expensive, so he's going to be very low owned in my opinion today. Is that how you're getting different? Because I just think most people are going to be going to the mid tier or basically spending no money on catcher today.
Yeah, Contreras is the top option here. He's very expensive. It's very difficult to hit him with Cole, but that's going to hold his ownership down. So I think it is worth making him a bit of a priority. Even against a tough pitcher like Peralta, you can hit a lazy fly ball. There were a couple of them yesterday, and they carry out into that basket in the Wrigley wind. I don't mind Alejandro Kirk against Cole. Cole can give up some home runs at times as well. Kirk has had a great season. He will be pretty low owned because of the matchup as well. Saving money, I like Stassi, like you mentioned. Love the Angel stack. Narvaez is fairly cheap if he is in there for the Brewers. It's not a great position. So I'm trying to spend the money on Contreras where I can. I like Stassi as the punt. I don't know, probably just play the guy in my stack and the majority of my lineups.
All right. To me, first base for cash, both sites. I'm playing Rowdy Tellez. Give me some of that win game against Stroman. Should negate the ground ball ability of Stroman. He wants to hit it up in the air. We've got the wind. Weather Edge says it's a massive boost to home runs. Give me a home run from Rowdy Tellez today. I think the other guy I would be looking at would be Rhys Hoskins. Rizzo's, I don't know. I like Judge, but maybe not Rizzo today. So it's either Tellez or Hoskins, but I'm definitely on board Tellez on both sites today. I'm going to assume you're on Rowdy as well. And then what else are you looking at?
Yeah, certainly love Tellez. Just too cheap for this spot with the wind. The profile, like you mentioned, a fly ball hitter is exactly what we're looking for today in Wrigley. Ryan Mountcastle is somebody I like. Like you mentioned, liking Waka a little bit. I kind of like this Baltimore stack. Baltimore has been really good. They obviously exploded last night. They're just a really solid offense ever since kind of Rutschman picked it up. I like Wisdom, of course. He's expensive as well, but certainly can hit you a home run today. Don't mind Vlad as a one-off against Cole. I don't want to stack against Cole, but I will be taking some chances on these Blue Jays one-offs. Paredes is a guy who has hit left-handed pitching really well, so I do like him. Jared Walsh, lefty, but he finally hit a home run yesterday. He had been scuffling really bad, but he is cheap, so I don't mind the power bat there with Walsh.
All right, I'm going to second base. There's a couple of options on FanDuel. They're both the same price. You've got Baez and Rengifo. You can play Rengifo at third base as you can hack your way into playing both of them if you want. I don't really love the position overall. I'd want to play maybe a guy like Gleyber Torres. I still like him, but the Yankees have just been a little bit cold. I don't love Javi against Detmers, but he could certainly connect for a home run. I'm okay with like a solo home run from Javi Baez if I'm playing Detmers for strikeouts and things like that. But that's basically where I'm at on FanDuel. One of those. There's really nobody to spend up on. DJ LeMahieu, if you want, a single or two, that's about what you get out of him. So I really like Rengifo or Baez. Over on DraftKings, there's a couple ways you can go. You can go to like the LeMahieu tier up towards the top is just too expensive. You've got Gleyber. If you wanted to play Madrigal at 2,800, a leadoff hitter in the win game, that seems fine. I guess I'm really going cheap on DraftKings today. So you've got Madrigal at 2,800, and then you've got Castro even up against Detmers, but he's leading off. And I guess the main thing, Keith, is he's 2K, and that lets me get some power. Like there's no one at second base. I look at him like this guy's going to be the player that hits 2 home runs and wins the slate for me on offense. So I'm okay spending as little as possible at the position on DK, and Castro lets me do that at least for cash.
Yeah, it's not a very strong position, especially at the top. You've got LeMahieu, like you mentioned, just doesn't have that power profile we're looking for. Morel is buried in the 9 spot. There's some upside there for him.
What's up with that?
I don't know why they're hiding him down there. He's been really good, unexpectedly really good. So maybe they just don't want to overexpose him. I don't know, but yeah, he is certainly one of the more talented hitters. But he's buried in the lineup, and he's expensive. I mentioned Paredes at first. You can play him at second as well. Christian Arroyo on DK against Bradish is really cheap, 2,300. I like Rengifo in an Angel stack in the middle of the lineup there. Nice way to save some money as well. I mentioned Fletcher, certainly in play. I think saving some money. Luis Urias is one of the Brewers that I don't think will be too popular. He has a fly ball profile as well, plenty of strikeouts for him. But I do like that fly ball profile today.
All right. On FanDuel third base, you've got Rengifo. If you didn't play him at second, you can play him at third. If you got Josh Donaldson, who I don't mind. But if you're like home run hunting, right, you want a fly ball hitter in Wrigley today, Wisdom is like the absolute one-off, not for cash, right? He's hitting 7th, and there is the boom bust. But I like the boom for tournaments. Rengifo is my cash game play on both sites today. But the price on Wisdom in tournaments, how do you turn that down today, Keith?
Yeah, I don't think you do. I mean, he's high owned, and he can certainly go out there and strike out 4 times. But that power is exactly what we're looking for in tournaments. So I don't love the ownership on Wisdom, but I'm going to play some. Probably won't be able to get over the field on him though, just because of that ownership number. I like the Donaldson call. Don't mind his price there. Decent matchup against White, who has been lower strikeouts so far. Devers on DK, I think, is a phenomenal option. Spending all the way up to the top. Don't mind Alec.
What do you think of Rengifo? Like I'm on him for cash, and if Wisdom and Donaldson look like they're going to double him up on ownership close, like Rengifo, I know Cardi wouldn't say he's not a lefty masher, but he's a lefty masher. He hits them pretty good, and he's having a really good season. He's hitting behind Ohtani and Trout now. I mean, he's in the best spot he can be. Yeah,
absolutely, and Ward behind him too. So who has been pretty good this season. The front 4 of the Angels in particular, I really, really like, especially because you can save some money with Rengifo, and even Fletcher in the 5-hole. I don't mind either. So,
all right. Speaking of Fletcher, let's go to shortstop. He's my dude on DraftKings. He's 3,200. This is another position where I don't love anybody. I would want to play Willy Adames at 5K. But if you can get to him, he is the play. I couldn't make it work. I think Fletcher is 3,200. The other guy I would probably be Javi Baez, but he's 4,100. So on FanDuel, Baez makes a little bit more sense because he's a little cheaper, but the 4,100 on DK didn't sit too well with me. So I like Fletcher. More Angels more better for my lineups today is basically how I'm playing. I really like the Angels offense with Trout. They're looking pretty good today. Saves me some cash. Over on Fanduel, you can play Adames. He's just 3,200 over there. Get some exposure to the win game. Basically how I'm breaking it down. Play Adames where he's cheap, not where he's expensive.
Adames is going to be one of my highest owned hitters on this slate.
Yeah.
Absolutely love this spot for him. The 5K price on DK is tough. The 3,200 on FanDuel is far too cheap. So he's easy to get on FanDuel. I make him a priority on DK. That price does hold the ownership down a little bit. So really like that. Also have Bogarts available on DK, which will help hold the Adames ownership down. Love this spot for Bogarts as well, though, against Bradish, one of my favorite matchups. With that right-handed power. Bobby Witt is a decent one-off for Kansas City. Some power there. Don't the price tag. Baez is fine, like as a one-off. Probably the only guy I'm interested in playing from Detroit. But it's really going to be mostly Adames and Bogarts here for me at this position.
All right. I want to make sure you guys are aware NFL is right around the corner. Pretty sure everyone watching this for baseball definitely watches this for football as well. So you can get access to NFL preseason stuff with PSU fans. If you're looking for in-season stuff, you can get access to everything, lineup HQ, projections, all the tools, Gridiron. If you like to do your own research, Gridiron IQ, right? I think we're offering it for $299 for the whole season. Well worth the weight in gold if you're MMEing at all to get all the tools, to get lineup HQ, all in one. Make sure to check that out. And then especially with preseason, there's money to be made. There's money to be made on props. There's, you can bet on FanDuel for all the games too if you have access to a sports book. Make sure to check all of that out. Yeah, I see Devin. There's an NFL preseason show. Then if you're coming back for crunch time later tonight, I'm going to be back on with Cards and Chief for the late slate. So make sure to check back for crunch time for that. All right, let's round up outfield. Oh yeah, get questions into the MLB Crunch Time Discord. We will give preference to our premium members, and then I will go to YouTube for questions. If you have any questions for Keith and I, get them in. Looks like we'll have about 10 minutes. With only 2 people, we will have the full 10 minutes. When we have 3, sometimes we get a little short for questions. I'm doing Angels in the outfield, Keith. I know it's a movie title, but I like it today. You got Trout, you got Ward. They're both a little bit too cheap. Trout was having a spectacular season before injuries have sort of derailed him. I'm crossing my fingers. I'm hoping, if he's back, I would assume he's able to swing a baseball bat pretty well. Looks like a really good spot for him. You mentioned Ward. Mix in Christian Yelich. Mixed in an Adele if you need a cheap outfielder on DraftKings. And that's pretty close across the board. Oh, yeah, mix in Kyle Schwarber. Mix in Aaron Judge. That should be basically your cash game grouping for me today.
Yeah, that Kyle Schwarber price on FanDuel is just goofy. He was just destroying the baseball before he missed some time. He should be 4K, not 3,200. So nice discount there for Schwarber. Love the Angels as well. Ward and Trout, both. Ohtani. I love the Brewers too. Renfroe is my favorite option out here. Second on the team in ISO. Has that fly ball profile we're looking for. So I actually prefer Renfroe to Yelich and McCutchen. But I like Yelich and McCutchen as well. The Brewers the Brewers and Angels are my primary exposure here. I will have some Cubs. I will have some Red Sox on DK. I mentioned Franmil Reyes has really turned his season around since getting picked up by the Cubs. Verdugo is cheap for the Red Sox. Definitely don't mind him. JD Martinez as well for the Red Sox. But yeah, the Angels and the Brewers definitely lead the way for me in the outfield here.
Yeah, I want to know if you had Josh Donaldson, get him out of your lineups. He's been scratched. The new lineup is LeMahieu, Benintendi, Judge, Rizzo, Torres, Cabrera, Trevino, Kiner, Falefa, and Florial in center field. Trevino hitting 7th now. If you just need he's like an interesting little punt play. I think that movie was 8th. Now he's hitting 7th. But yeah, if you had Donaldson, a little bit of a hit to that Yankees lineup today, in my opinion, but just get him out of your lineups. All right, real quick, people have just joined. Let's pretend, Keith, they're looking for a couple pitcher takes, a couple team takes to stacks. Real quick, give me about a minute on the field.
All right. So at pitcher, Garrett Cole, top option. A little bit of a watered down Toronto lineup, but still a tough matchup in a tough ballpark. So certainly don't mind the pivot down to Reed Detmers. Has been really good since coming back from the minors. Strikeout rate has ticked way up and has a phenomenal matchup against Detroit. Getting a little bit different in tournaments, high risk play with Freddie Peralta. I like the strikeout upside against the Cubs here today. Over on DK, if you want to save a little money, Drew Rasmussen has been really good. Like the matchup against Kansas City in a great ballpark for pitching, and sprinkle a little bit of Chris Bubich as well if you want.
All right, real quick, weather-wise, there's lots of weather, but nothing to worry about. Was the latest report from Roth. Not too concerned about that. And the one spot you really want to pay attention to for bats is Chicago. Weather Edge tool gives a 52% increase in home runs, and that's over 184 game sample. So a huge sample, tons of home runs inspected in this game with the wind blowing out. It's not super hot, but it's also like it's a little sticky, so that it's a little humid out there. So it's 77. So it probably feels a little warmer. That helps the ball too here. So lots of home run potential in this Cubs game. All right, let's get to some questions. Going to go to our Discord first here for the premium members. Amateur Hour, yours is, I don't know, we can try to answer this. A favorite three-man stack on a DraftKings tournament. And then he's already got a couple other positions, but you got like a favorite little three-man stack today? I can pull it up and see if I can come up with something too.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm assuming he wants something a little bit more off the board. We don't like the full stack. Because I certainly like three guys from any of the Angels, Red Sox, Milwaukee. You can even find three Cubs pretty easily, I think. The three-man that's pretty off the board, I think, Baltimore. I like Mountcastle.
Oh, dude, I'm looking at it right here. I'm like Santander, Rushman, and Mountcastle. Boom.
There you go. I think Baltimore's the team that I don't want to fully stack, but I do have a lot of interest in some of their hitters.
Yeah, that looks like a real nice one. So if you're looking for something a little lower owned, me and Keith both like the Baltimore one-offs. Favorite Milwaukee bat, if you had to pick one.
So in a vacuum, it's Tellez, but he's also going to be the highest owned because he's a little bit underpriced. Give me Renfroe, buried in the order a little bit. Just not going to pick up as much ownership as Tellez. I like him for a home run today.
Yelich will hit what? 4 or 3 ground balls, or maybe a couple. Hopefully, a couple of those are doubles against Stroman today, at least for me. But yeah, Yelich. He had that one season where he's having home runs, but now he's just back to hitting the ground balls like he did in Miami previously all those years. Let's see if you guys let's see. Steve OJ, want to know Bradish or Alexander for DraftKings tournaments? If you're trying to get a little different today.
I would definitely side with Bradish there. Alexander just doesn't have the strikeout upside. Tough matchup for Bradish, so certainly tons of risk. But I would go with his. I think he has a little bit more strikeout upside than Alexander.
Alexander's been all right. So he's been pitching all season. He's been starting some of it. His highest fantasy point score is 15 in all of his starts. That'll get it done at 53. There is some leverage. What about, like, I'm just thinking out loud here from the leverage take, because we all like the Angels today, I think. Is that worth a dart throw, or are you still going to take Bradish with a little bit higher strikeout upside?
Yeah, I would still take Bradish. Alexander could throw 5 innings and shut down the Angels, but only end up with like 2 strikeouts.
Yeah. I mean, anybody can shut down Trout's back. We'll see. People were shutting them down with Trout in there anyway. So somehow Ohtani and Trout are having great seasons, and the Angels are just absolutely horrific. What a waste of 2 of the best talents in all of baseball.
Yep.
Let's see. Amateur, I want to know Wong or Urias at second base. You got to pick one.
Give me Urias.
I'll take Keith's side on that one as well. All right, crunch time. The Discord's a little low, so in question. So I'm going to go to YouTube. I'm going to see what I can find here. Alan S. wanted to know Willie Castro or Christian Arroyo on DraftKings for a punt second baseman.
What's Arroyo's? I know Castro is at the top of the order.
He's 2,300.
Yeah, I just wanted to see did we get the Boston lineup with his lineup spot yet, is what I was looking for.
Let's see here. Let me see if it's
I'm refreshing right now.
Baltimore. I think people were complaining that it hadn't been updated. I'm just looking on my phone here real quick. I don't see it. Let me see if I can find a Boston lineup. I don't see a Boston lineup out there on Twitter yet either.
I mean, we haven't projected to bat seventh. If that's where he ends up in the order, then I'd slightly lean Castro. But if Arroyo happens to move up a couple of slots, then I would go Arroyo.
All right, yeah, and that 3. So I think in a vacuum, I would like Arroyo. Like if he said if he was hitting like 5th or 6th, but Castro, it's really hard to pass up. Minimum price, hitting second. Literally, give me a 0. I don't even care. He's 2K. He lets me get everything else that I want. I'm okay. People get zeros all the time. I'll take the 0 for 2K instead of spending 6,000 on a 0 or something like that. So I'm just using him as because he's super cheap. So I'm going to take Castro. I needed that extra $300 in my own personal lineup today. Yankee stack on FanDuel. So what's going on with the Yankees, Keith? Right. So they're struggling a little bit today. What about the stack on FanDuel?
Yeah, it's just their performance here recently. It's really tough. Mitch White's not somebody I'm terribly afraid of, so I don't hate it. I certainly like Judge. They're putting some young guys in here trying to find a spark. So there's some decent cheaper options as well. Like Torres is cheap, Trevino is cheap. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. They're not one of my favorite offenses, but I certainly wouldn't try to talk you off of it. That there's still a ton of talent in this lineup.
All right, let's see. So home run call. Home run call, not in Wrigley on FanDuel.
All right. On FanDuel, probably would have looked to Boston, but since you put that FanDuel qualifier out there, I mean, Kyle Schwarber is probably the more obvious one. Give me something a little more off the board. I will go. Give me Taylor Ward today.
All right, I like Ward. Not Wrigley. Damn.
Yeah, it's hard with it.
Like all those guys. You like Schwarber. How about a Castellanos turns the season around a little bit here today? I sort of like the Phillies to score some runs today, so I'll go with Castellanos. Like Renfroe or Hernandez if you had to pick between one of them today.
Oh, Renfroe. Yeah,
I'll take Renfroe. Wrigley for sure today. 2 favorite Cubs. Lots of Cubs to like today. Even though if you like Peralta, if you had to pick 2 of them, who are they?
On DK, it is Franmil Reyes, where he is cheap. On FanDuel, it is Patrick Wisdom, where he is cheap. So,
all right,
the price on both of those, like they're my 2 favorites, and their prices are distinctly different on depending on which site you're playing.
Yeah, Contreras is always going to be my number 1 pick. He's really expensive on DraftKings, so if you're looking to play him, I do side attempting to get him a little bit more on FanDuel. And I like Reyes, Happ, Suzuki, definitely Contreras. How about Suzuki? I think he's a little interesting today against Peralta, and he's reasonably priced. And Happ has plenty of power too. He's had a nice little season. The Cubs seem like a little bit of a sneaky stack today if people aren't going to be playing them for sure.
Yep, I like it. I'm going to play both sides of that Cubs Peralta matchup for sure.
Josh wanted to know Detmers or Rasmussen. I mean, this isn't even close to me. I have Detmers basically neck and neck with Garrett Cole in terms of overall performance, if not better than Garrett Cole straight up today. I absolutely love Detmers, and as much as I like Rasmussen, Detmers is in another league.
Yeah, Detmers is a guy that was pretty overrated early in the season because of that no-hitter. And it was kind of just a lucky coincidence that he managed to make it through 9 innings without a hit. But since he's come back from the minors, this is a different pick. He is back to looking like one of the top pitching prospects in baseball with elite strikeout potential.
All right, real quick from our Discord, Steve OJ wanted to know Bubic or Stroman.
I'd lean Bubic there. Like Stroman just doesn't have the strikeout ability to avoid the home run ball today. He does have ground ball ability, but the Brewers, all they try to do is hit fly balls and home runs. So the Brewers are set up phenomenally against Stroman, I think.
Yeah, I would take Bubic without even thinking twice for sure today. So I think his prop, if you can find a 5.5 strikeouts is okay. I might even seen like 6.5 in a couple spots today. So
he is another guy that's really taken a step forward here over the past
Mm-hmm.
month or so. His strikeouts are way up.
Let's see. Looks like we got most of the questions. We've got all that. So if you're looking for any bets, I'll just throw out Detmers is definitely my bet. Ladder him up on Fanduel. You can get up to 10 strikeouts. He's done that against better teams. This is against Detroit. It was like I think it was like +7 or +800 for 10 strikeouts, which seems like a lot. But if you look at what he's done, that seems like a pretty decent bet to make today. And then just ladder up all of his overs. That's one of my favorite bets today. And if you're looking for a straight up play, it is without question Tampa Bay for me. Let me see what they are on FanDuel. It's -200, so you got to lay some heavy juice on that. But Tampa Bay is going to win this game. As much as I like Bubic, that Kansas City offense is pretty putrid, and Rasmussen I think is still a little bit better of a pitcher, and I like the Tampa Bay offense today at home. So that's definitely one of my favorite bets of the day. Sorry for the -200 pick, it's Captain Obvious. But if you're looking for a bet, I do like that one. You're probably a little too busy, too early in the morning for you to get anything up on scores and odds?
I did get one up, actually.
Oh, what do you got?
I took Freddie Peralta over 5.5 strikeouts.
All right.
Even if he gives up a couple of home runs today, there are 5 guys, like I mentioned, with 30% plus strikeout rates versus righties. Suzuki at 31%, Reyes at 36%. Wisdom at almost 34%, McKinstry at 32%, and Morel at 31%. The upside for Peralta here is huge.
And then let's see here. I'm going to go to FanDuel. Let's see what these home run odds are for this Cubs game. See if we can find anything good here today. So give me a couple guys. We'll play guess the odds, Keith. What are some of these home run odds on FanDuel for this Cubs game?
So Tellez is probably like +210.
+390. I'm definitely betting that right now.
Yeah, I am as well.
That's
right, ridiculous.
What else you got?
Given that, then I'll go Renfroe +400, +410.
That's +265. So they're on that one.
All right, that doesn't make any sense. That Pro is that much worse than Tellez. What's Adames? Let's go 350 on Adames.
Adames is 285, so they're getting you on that one. What about a couple of these long shots? So you've got Madrigal, like he doesn't hit home runs.
That's going to be +800 probably.
It's 1060. Has he even hit one? He hasn't even hit one all season, has he?
He has no power whatsoever.
He has none. And then Herner's +900.
I don't mind that one.
That's just like
he doesn't have a ton of power, but he's got far more power than Madrigal does.
All right, Colton Wong. Guess what's he coming in at? This is one I might like.
+460.
750.
Okay, yeah, I like that one.
That's going to be another one. I'm going to put that in. So I got Tellez and Wong to hit a home run today.
I like.
And then Contreras 400. Suzuki's 430. I think you could toss a little bit on one of those, right?
Yeah, I like. Well, both of them are fly ball hitters, so yeah, I'd be fine with either one of those.
All right, I'll take Suzuki. I'm playing Weather Edge. It's been right a lot. I know Roth has done pretty well when he puts in the scores and odds ones, but if you're looking for any bets, get a couple of those. Kurt's got a question. Do you look at K props to decide or help decide on pitchers? I look at K props to make money. I guess I can look at, but I think Detmer should be is 6.5. I think should be -140, and they were it was plus money earlier in the day. I actually got them at I got them at 5.5 at -130 at 2:00 this morning. Not on FanDuel. Sorry, FanDuel. I did cheat on you at 2:00 this morning with another sports book. But I guess I don't really look at them. What I look at is the bat strikeouts.
Yeah. So that's what I was. We're both in the business of exploiting the sports books for K props. I know you do a ton of prop betting, and I write an article 4 days a week specifically focused around strikeout props. So I try to find the props that I think are wrong at the books, and the bat is a great tool to try to identify some of that stuff.
Yeah, Kurt, you're in Georgia and cannot bet. I don't know if you can do any of the prop sites in Georgia. I'm unaware of the rules there, but if you can play the prop sites. That's another way you can sort of get around some of the rules. I think George is pretty restrictive. I don't know, but if you can check out like Prize Picks, check out Sleeper, Betcha, Monkey Knife Fight, all of them. You can check the prop shop too in our Discord for free. And that's where literally there's guys that it's pretty ridiculous in some of the off-brand sports like Counter-Strike and League of Legends that basically never lose. And you just follow them and the money ends up in your bank account at the end of the month is what it seems to happen in those. But yeah, props are fun. DFS is fun. Football's around the corner. Keith's got UFC tonight. It's a fun NBA's right around the corner. Fun seasons. Fun time to be involved in all of this. So I think we're going to get out of here. Keith, any final words?
Nope. Busy day. Let's go start watching some of it.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. For Keith, I'm Britt. Thanks for watching, and we out you.